Howard's going to join the program coming up at the bottom of this hour. He joined 76 Capital back in 2017. It's a sports tech venture capital fund as a partner, and they have invested in VSiN. We'll ask him about that. And I want to know if they gambled in the clubhouse, on flights, not on games obviously, but what was it like playing cards, that kind of stuff, dice, whatever. You got to kill some time somehow, right? Get pretty boring.
Ever get heated?
Sure.
You found Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on Sirius XM 204. Now listen up for Winformation.
This is going to be a lot of fun. Been looking forward to this now for the last couple of days. We continue talking some Major League Baseball and the future of sports betting as former Phillies great Ryan Howard joins the program. Ryan, thanks so much for the time today. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
Doing really well. First,
right.
I want to start with this. The next time you get to Las Vegas, I would love to meet you. I owe you dinner. I owe you a beer.
Absolutely.
I owe you a beer, whatever it is, because you won me a pretty good bet back in 2009. I bet you're over on home runs that year, and you cranked out 45 for me, and I won that bet. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Glad I could contribute.
Yeah, that was nice. So let's get into this then, because you recently teamed up with 76 Capital. They are a sports tech venture capital fund, and you're a partner. And you've invested in this network and the future of sports betting. Why did you get involved?
Well, we wanted to get into what drew us was the potential regulated $250 billion sports betting market. And we wanted to try to have plays all across the board. So in data analytics, media, and broadcasting. And VSiN fit that broadcasting bucket. So plus we love, the guys over at the team, Brian, Brent, everybody over there. So it was a great fit.
Did you think, when did you want to get into business and start to become a businessman? Was it early on in your career, or was it at the end of your career?
Yeah, I always had that thought process in the early parts of my career. Wasn't quite sure what it was going to be in terms of how I would transition, because when you're young, obviously, you have the tendency to think that, hey, you're going to be able to play forever, and it doesn't work out that way. So, for me, once I kind of got closer towards the end of my career, I was looking at trying to make that transition, and was connected with Wayne and the guys over at 76 Capital, and we just ran from there.
When you signed your first big contract, how many people came up to you? Oh, I got an idea. Oh, let me tell you.
Oh, man. Left and right, man.
Oh.
You could just trip and fall, man, without somebody coming up to you with some kind of new idea.
Well, Ryan, we talked about this story earlier. Of all players, Rob Gronkowski for the Patriots, evidently he's been so good with his money. He hasn't spent a penny yet from what he's made from an NFL contract. It's all endorsements. Mm-hmm. So he has younger players coming up to him for advice. How many times have you seen it where it's the flip side, where players are awful with their money?
You see it far, far too often. I think that's kudos to Gronkowski and what he's been able to do in having his plan. I think Shaquille O'Neal kind of had the same plan initially as well, where he was saying that he wanted to just live off of his marketing money and not touch any of his contract money. So I think that's the biggest thing, is being able to have a plan and being able to stick with it and moving forward that way.
I can't imagine what the future of sports betting, now that it's legal back in your neck of the woods now, back east, because right here it's only been legal in Nevada and Las Vegas up until May when it got passed and they got rid of PASPA. But here it's, the market size, we have 2 million people that live in Southern Nevada, and we draw a lot of people from California. But back in the, New York City, for example, Philadelphia, that area, Boston, all of those highly populated areas, the amount of people and the amount of footwork and the people that love to bet on sports, you can't even do the math on the money and the people that want to get involved in this.
It's going to be crazy. It's just going to be kind of the wild, wild west, I think, in terms of this. And a lot of people are looking forward to it. I just remember hearing, when I was playing, a lot of people, like how you just told me, I won you the over, people coming up and telling me in terms of like fantasy leagues and whatnot, saying, oh man, you helped me, win my fantasy league. And I think this is going to be just that on such a much bigger scale. It's going to be interesting to see how it all continues to unfold.
Yeah, good answer. And you're right about that. Thanks for the investment as well. How about the Phillies? Are you keeping an eye on the Phillies and how they're doing this year?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Being able to play alongside some of those guys that are still there, it's been great for me to watch, kind of being that that dad figure at that time, I guess, if you would. But being able to watch those guys come into their own after kind of going through the scuffles and the struggles and figuring out who they are individually as players, but now as a team and coming together, I think Cap's done a great job. His crew have done a great job of getting those guys to buy in and going out there and exceeding a lot of expectations.
Let's follow the money on SiriusXM 204, VSiN.com, and the VSiN app. Former Phillies great Ryan Howard is our guest. So as you played in that city, it's a wild sports city, great fans. They're rabid for all of their sports teams there, obviously. Can you compare what it's like, the highest of highs, in winning a World Series for the fans of Philadelphia, and then like in 2015, the lowest of lows, when you lost 99 games? So what's it like when you're at the top compared to when you're at the very bottom?
Yeah, it's a lot better at the top. Winning cures and solves everything, and everything just seems a lot easier when you're out there winning. You're getting sellouts, you're getting the fans coming in, and everything. It's fun to be able to go to the ballpark, and when you're losing, it's tough. It's one of those things where it's almost like the season can't end fast enough. So it's a little bit tougher. You try to go on, you try to grind it out, but the days when you're having a tough losing season just seem longer and longer and longer each day.
I think that's where a manager's can be huge, because that on a young player like that, every day in, day out, you're getting your brains beat in. If you're a young player, that's hard to take.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, as a manager, you've got to continue to try to motivate, especially if you have a young team. Obviously you're trying to get that team to start to move in the right direction. So if you have a young team, it's about those guys being able to get experience, being able to grow, being able to understand the game, and start to slowly get better at the game. And because your play is you're looking down the road, maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years, at then trying to be able to compete.
I know Jason Worth made comments about he said nerds are running the game and all this stuff. What do you think of the state of the game with analytics and advanced metrics and the shift, and everyone's got a role, and you go to the righty, lefty, righty matchups out of the bullpen?
Yeah. And Kapler loves that stuff.
Yeah, right. Kapler, he's a big guy with analytics. What do you think of the state of the game and the job Kapler's doing?
I mean, I think with the state of the game, obviously it's a little bit different than when I first kind of came in, but I think there's a place for the analytics. But at the same time, I don't think that the analytics should rule the game, because I think you're taking a lot of action out of the game. Guys are trying to steal bases, where the percentages are even higher than what they used to be, as opposed to, guys who would just constantly run all the time. I think it takes a lot of the hit and run and other kind of chess matches between the managers out of the game, because the numbers are telling us, well, if this guy does this, then this is what's going to happen. So I think, in terms of the shift, I think it's taking, action out of the game. Batting averages are going down, and people come to games to see runs. They want to see some action. And baseball's one of those games, man, where it can get long real quick. But, I do believe that there is a place for the numbers, but I don't think the numbers should reign, or the analytics, I should say, should reign supreme over the integrity of the game.
I think one of the Las Vegas kids playing right now is the perfect example, and that's Joey Gallo, who's going to hit, a $190, 200, 210, whatever it is, but he's going to crank out 35, 40, maybe 45 home runs as long as he gets the playing time, but they're going to be okay with that, evidently.
Yeah. I mean, I guess apparently I was ahead of my time when they were starting to do all that kind of stuff. So, because I remember, it was kind of like strikeouts and stuff like that were kind of frowned upon, but now it's kind of, okay, it's just an out. I think earlier this year, it was either April or May, where I think it was the first time in MLB history, or the first time in a long time in MLB history, where you had more strikeouts across the league than you did hits. And it's, one of those things to where it's become more acceptable. So, it's one of those things now, I think, that where, and I was kind of saying it too, that the batting average starts to kind of become a little bit overrated in a sense, depending upon what your job is. Joey Gallo is the guy who's supposed to go out and produce runs. Mm-hmm. So if Joey Gallo's, getting those hits, those seeing eye normal hits that everybody else who has a little bit more of a normal playing field, if you will, his job is to put the ball over the fence, knock in runs. If he's up there by himself, and he hits that normal ground ball back up the middle, which is what you're supposed to do with that pitch. And there's a guy standing there. There's nothing you can really do about it, and your average kind of suffers from that.
Yep.
So, I mean, if he's taking the walks and still being able to get on base, I think that right now on base percentage is what's being looked at, more so I think than the batting averages right now.
Yeah, well said.
Did you see this business in the Braves game where the Marlins threw at him? What is this? If I hit a home run off you and I'm hot, then you're going to throw at me? It doesn't make any sense. What do you think of this?
I think it's. I see what they were trying to do, and I think it's uncalled for. I mean, it's the old mantra, man. If the guy is hot and you want to throw inside, that's fine, and try to kind of get him off a little bit, but you don't go hit the guy. If he hit a home run and did a monster bat flip or stood there too long or this or that or whatever, okay, and tried to show you up, I get it. Totally understand. But to go up there and hit the guy the first pitch of the game, where he doesn't even have an opportunity to try to get out of the way or get a warning or something, it's tough. It's tough. And now it's, he could wind up on the DL, and the Braves are in the middle of a pennant race, and that could be something that changes everything for the Braves going down the stretch.
It kind of ties into the Sunday night game from last week where the kid for Chicago hit the grand slam, and then he did the bat flip, and he's celebrating. And why wouldn't you? I mean, the game's almost over with, and he hits a grand slam to win 4-3. He had to apologize this week for the bat flip. I'm like, come on, guys, you need to loosen up a little bit in baseball and let the guys have fun once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, there's times where it's kind of warranted, I would say. I mean, you should be able to kind of celebrate a little bit. I think every other sport, soccer guys get to go celebrate, take their shirt off, jump in the stands, do this. Football in Green Bay, you got the Lambeau Leap. Now they're even football's letting the teams kind of come up with some end zone celebrations to kind of entertain. It's entertainment. That's what it's about. Yep. And when somebody gets it, if somebody gets you, like my old manager Charlie Manuel used to say, if you get them and you got it good, it's like, hey, that's what you're supposed to do with that ball. And they make that pitch. You're supposed to hit it and hit it hard and hit it over the wall. Yep. So yeah, you should be able to have a little bit of showtime. Keep it respectful, but have a little bit of showtime in the game. And I think, the people, the fans, and everybody kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. Last thing for you, Ryan, and we're talking to Ryan Howard, former Phillies great. He has teamed up with 76 Capital, a sports tech venture capital fund, and they have also invested in VSiN and the future of sports betting. So during your long road trips, when you're doing, a 9-game road or whatever it might be, and you're going from city to city to city, would you guys, and I'm not talking about gambling on sports, obviously, but would you guys, what would you do to kill time? Because you have a lot of time there on your hands. Would you play cards for some money, some dice, whatever it would be?
There'd be a lot of card games, and stuff like that on the plane, just different varieties and stuff like that. And you just kind of play cards, and like you said, you got, 9-10 game road trip or whatnot. So yeah, you're playing cards. You're playing cards on the plane. At times you're playing cards in the clubhouse before stretch or this or that or whatnot. So yeah, I mean you're definitely out there kind of playing some stuff, kind of passing the time.
Ever get heated?
Did it ever get heated? No.
No. Good.
No.
Good.
It did get loud because there would be some great plays that people didn't see coming, and then just. A lot of trash talk.
Oh, good. Yeah. You can follow him on Twitter. He's at Ryan Howard. And thanks so much for the time. It was great talking to you. Hopefully we can meet you sometime soon in Las Vegas. And obviously for the stuff with 76 Capital and teaming up with us here at VSiN as well. Thanks, Ryan. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys for having me on. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
There you go.
Great
Ryan
answer.
Howard.
Great answer about the strategy. You just sit back if you're a manager now, right? All the analytics and the advanced metrics. Hit and run, gone.
Of course.
All that stuff, yeah.
It's a